Here, I do numerous live TV and radio interviews. What you don't see is how I prepare for such interviews behind the scenes. Hopefully, some of the content that I share with you today can be useful when you are about to go on air, and so you can see how I prepare for these interviews.
So how has Libra really changed the equation in this space?
Today, around 70% of central banks are exploring central bank digital currencies. The two things that I'm watching in 2020 are some of the global policymakers come up with guidance. Another very important skill is to really dress professionally. I cannot emphasize how important this is. Whenever you go on live TV, it's not only very important because hundreds of thousands of people can watch you, but most importantly, that clip of you will be available on the internet for years to come. This is why it's very important you dress professionally. Whenever I see people go on air with no tie or a dirty shirt, that doesn't look good. Appearances matter when you're going on TV. Catalyzed not only by increased regulatory clarity, but also by customer demand. Another piece of advice is to learn how to pivot. Journalists will often ask you questions that you don't want to answer for various reasons. But with experience, you learn how to acknowledge their question and pivot to deliver the message that you want. For example, if someone asks you a tricky question, you acknowledge it and then use a pivot, like what is important to understand here, or what is important to watch here is.
What does it say about cryptos when part of the appeal is holding it for as short a time as possible?
Absolutely, there's like any other industry, Paul, in a new area, there's a lot of speculators, a lot of traders. But one thing I think to watch in 2019 is the rise of what I call security tokens and stable coins. Another thing that I always do before an interview is to try to anticipate the questions they will ask. Another topic that I get asked all the time is about the entry of institutional players in the crypto ecosystem. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if I get questions on that today. And this is why I always get some answers ready whenever that question comes up.
What about institutional players? Because we saw the likes of JP Morgan, Nomura, Fidelity, all in this space. Is this something that we have to keep watching in 2020?
Absolutely. We're seeing the continuous entry of institutional players in the crypto markets. Obviously, there was the likes of JPM and Julius Baer and others entered the market last year. Always make sure that you read the news of that outlet the day of. For example, if you're going to go on Bloomberg, make sure you read the news of what Bloomberg is talking about that day. It's very likely the producer or the anchor has been following the news of the day, and it's very likely they may ask you questions from topics that are hot during that day. One thing that's very important is to practice. I literally practice when I'm shaving, I practice when I'm in the shower, I practice when I'm getting ready. Super important to practice all the time leading to the interview. Henri. Arslanian, exactly. It's like Armenian names, like Kim Kardashian. And the two big topics to watch for the months ahead is one, what are the big transnational organizations like the BIS or the ECB? One thing that's very important is you need to know where to look when you're on stage. For example, today there was about 6 or 7 cameras around me. The other thing is often not always the anchors are with you. For example, today one of the anchors, Sherry, was with me here in New York, but the other one, Paul, was down in Sydney, Australia. So sometimes you need to know when you have to look at the anchor here in person or listen in your earpiece and actually watch it, look at the camera. You don't see him, but you really have to listen to him, speak to the camera, and always speak in the camera. So now we're about to go live on Bloomberg Radio. The way I prepare for radio is exactly similar to the way I prepare for live TV. The only difference is whenever I go on radio, I try to speak a bit more slowly and articulate better as well. Whereas on TV, you have the audio and the visual. On radio, it's only for the voice. And there's a lot of people that listen to radio, from people driving to work to people listening at home. And it's the same, but the way I prepare is exactly similar. I have to confess that, You know, I do like hundreds of public appearances every year, from keynotes to panels, but really when it comes to doing live TV or live radio, I still get these little butterflies in my stomach. It's really interesting. You know, I've been maybe on live TV more than 15, 20 times in the last couple of years, but it's still, every time I come on air, there's this little nervousness within you, which is very normal. But again, shows you that as many as you think you can do, you still always are, stressed before going on air. You may see me just on TV for 5 minutes or on radio for only 5 minutes, but often now you know that there's hours of preparation that happen behind the scenes. And this is the case for many things in life. People only see the final product and they have no idea all the hours of hard work that go into it. Hopefully this video was useful to many of you, and now you have certain tips that you can use next time you go on live TV or live radio. See you guys all next time from somewhere in the world.